thing I know he.
Okay, trustees, we are live. We are recording. Phone lines are opened. Go for it.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the regular meeting of the East Hampton Town Trustees for September 8th, 2025. I'd like to open with the Pledge of Allegiance.
United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Arlene, can you do a roll call, please?
John Aldred.
Here.
Francis Bach.
Here.
David Cataletto.
Present.
Tree Stolten.
Here.
Ben Dollinger. Tim Garneau.
Here.
Jim Grimes. Celia Josephson.
Here.
And William Taylor.
Here.
Thank you.
All right. Start with public comment. There's nobody in the audience. Matt, is there anybody on the phone lines?
Stand by, please. And this is Matt Chapman from LTV. Just want to say all phone lines are open and you have 0 additional callers. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. All right, we'll move on to new business. Clearwater Beach Property Owners Association, they have a request for a multi-year dredging permit. Is there anybody here who's, okay. So they have apparently received permits from DEC and Army Corps, which are actually, I believe, 10-year permits. And they're requesting that we issue a similar permit to them so that they are in sync. So that's up for the discussion.
What has it been in previous years? How many?
It's been every year. Annual.
Annual?
Yeah.
So you're asking for like a 3 or 5 year?
They're asking for 10.
10?
Yeah, but we don't have to give them 10.
Yeah, it's all property.
How many times could they dredge in a 10-year period?
10 times.
But like we have a 10-year permit for aquaponic and we would never do that, right? 10 years.
No.
No, but they do. They do dredge every year.
They do? Okay, so it would be 10
That's
dredging.
because they have to dredge every year. You know,
Right.
it shoals in.
We've had requests for these before, and I can't remember where it is, but I think we've granted up to 5 years.
What do we do with Devon? Something like
I think it's 5,
5 years?
but they were looking for 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 10 years would be, a long time. It might be multiple boards.
But if we give them a 10-year permit
I
and
think that's too long.
get into a quabble about where the sand is going or something like that, are we in a position to not, we give them a 10-year permit, does that lock us in for 10 years?
Yeah, I would say 5 then, to go from 1 to 5.
Yeah, I mean, my concern is with all the board changes, you can end up at the end of the permit with a completely different board that has 0 knowledge of the history of the project. So I think we just kind of experienced. We do the best we can to have some.
Yeah, it's been a pretty routine renewal.
Right.
We've never turned them down.
We've had some discussions.
No,
with
there's
them
been
about
issues,
their
there's been
project.
some issues.
Do they need this right away? Because Bill just said, I didn't think of before, but if there's conditions, do we want to lock ourselves into, things like where the sand goes and what the disposition of the sand is, or do we want to review that maybe? Do we want to craft a permit with some shorter term reviews in mind?
Does their permit say that they can put the sand on, where they want to put it? Is it that specific?
I think their permit, you mean for the DEC permit? I mean, that'll be the 10-year permit. I think it talks about they have a certain amount of sand they can stockpile on site.
Right,
I think that's all it says.
right.
I don't think it says what about the rest of it. That's how we've usually come into the picture.
Because one I've seen says that we could put so much sand on one part and so much sand on the other part, but it's a quantification. It's like, cubic yards or something like that. Is that what theirs is like? It limits them?
The states permit.
Their permit, would it limit them to how much they could take out and store?
Well, okay, so I have the Army Corps permit.
The
Okay, it
fact that
says
it,
up to 3,900 cubic yards.
yeah,
1,500 cubic yards materials placed on site, and 2,296 cubic yards placed on Lionhead Beach Civic Association property in previously permitted locations.
So that's pretty specific.
yeah. Yeah, and how much sand they take out is basically a result of how much they have to take out to get the draft they want. So it could vary from year to year. The things we've had in the past is like where the sand goes. I think we weren't charging them if we went on a public beach or something like that.
Right, if they moved it to a public beach, we wouldn't charge.
Because we charge them by the yard for what they take out.
Looks like the
Last year, we
DEC permit.
brought some over to Baby Beach and didn't charge them for it.
Did the Lions Head and Clearwater share the dredging? It's one or the other.
They generally share.
Clearwater doesn't really need sand.
So like with the 10-year permit that we have, they don't issue, we don't,
Well, they don't have a 10-year permit from us.
no, they don't. But I'm
Right.
saying like for the one that we do have,
Oh, okay.
What?
one,
The one that we have.
We
we
have
have one
Acrobonic.
for Acrobonic Harbor.
Yeah,
So that is issued by the county for 10 years, and we just assume it's broad enough that, that's going to be sufficient.
That's a county permit
Right.
issued by the state.
but
We don't have a permit. The county has the permit.
We have a permit to take,
Yeah.
Oh,
we
that
have
one.
we have a permit to take off the end.
to take off the end, there's like 3 different DEC permits, I think.
Yeah.
But the 10-year permit they give out, it doesn't require you to do it every year or anything.
Right,
It's been their standard for the DEC is to give out a 10-year permit.
right. That's my understanding. So 10 years is, even though it's a long time for us historically, like we have 4-year terms, it would be 2.5 terms to see.
Yeah, we've never had any real issues with it. It's something that's, in order to keep the marina open, they have to get the sand out.
Yeah.
It's pretty much been the same basic job every year. I don't know if 10 years is a long time committing 2 other trustee boards to do it,
Maybe we look between 3 and 5.
I think 5 makes more sense because it's half of 10.
They give you 3.
Half the 10, meaning they asked for 10, so we're giving half of it?
No, it just means we review everything halfway through the 10-year permit. If it's 3, then you're gonna review it twice over 10 years, but it's not gonna end up. You're still gonna have a permit. You're gonna have to give 3, 3, and 2 to match the 10, or else you're gonna be staggering your permits with the DEC
Right.
permits.
So 5 makes sense.
Also, what 5 will do is if you consider the election cycles, you can lose half the board in that time, but still have half who are aware of the project.
You want someone who knows what's going on.
Right.
Yeah, it's probably always going to be a project that we would approve,
Yeah.
trustee board would
Yeah.
approve.
We need to know what's going on.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it.
And it's
But there
good
might-
for-
Yeah, there might be issues.
And it's good for new members to be able to hear it 5 years in. I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's not a terribly complicated process. We put them through to renew it.
No, I was gonna say that too.
Does this also have something to do with charging for the sand too?
That would be part of the permit, I think.
So is that gonna lock in a price in 5 years from now?
Well, that's a good point.
We do that at the annual meeting. We set the price, sand.
Even with a 5-year permit though?
Well, we could write the permit and note that the price of sand is set annually.
It's a good idea.
There's no rush on this, is there?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
This permit actually expires in 2033, so they're 2 years into it.
No, that messes up the half and half.
You're
That
so
makes it
smart, John.
Sounded good.
Do some real math.
So now we could do 4 and 4 because we only have 8 years to worry about.
What year is it now?
This one.
You do a 3.5 year permit.
Could we, approve it for this year and take the rest under consideration? When do they want to do it?
I assume as soon as we can come to an agreement.
You'd have to wait till, are they going to try and do it before the
I
season?
don't think we should do it tonight, honestly.
I think
We should
we think it over.
think it over a little bit more. and-
Jimmy is pretty involved in that project too.
Yeah, they approached him. I don't know if he talked to somebody, but the letter here is addressed to him from them.
Let's wait till he gets back.
So generally, we seem to be in agreement that we can come to some sort of a resolution on this, but it won't be 10 years.
Yes, maybe we can craft it to end in 2033 somehow.
Mhm. So a motion to table,
Make a motion to table?
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right, next we have Northwest Creek duck blinds. There's apparently some blinds that have not been removed. I'm going to recuse myself from this.
So did everybody get a chance to
See the
review?
correspondence, they all seem to have
I did, yeah.
reasons for, that they couldn't remove them.
We always do.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was my thought.
How many duck blinds are there in the creek?
Altogether?
Yeah.
60, about 60.
60? Well,
But,
No,
No.
in Northwest.
oh, no, like 9 or 10, 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm just thinking like almost everybody removed them except for these 3, right?
Mm.
They're outliers.
Yeah, except they weren't all filled. We don't fill them all.
And there are duck blinds, I believe, that are still in other harbors too. I felt as though one of the respondents had a very valid
Yeah.
reason. The other two, okay, fine, the trailer broke, but, that was March 1st, they're supposed to be out. Nobody notified us that they couldn't get it out March 1st. Now it's, the new permits are gonna be issued or applied for in another month or so.
Yeah, so there's no sense in,
So what's the only penalty is we could deny them a permit for the upcoming year? Is that it?
That's what it says very clearly on the permit application.
How about letting
I
them
don't think
have,
that's the only,
but it's the only thing I could see that was specified. It's not like there's a fine or anything like that.
no, that's the,
You could warn them.
Yeah, that's what I would do. I would warn them
warned.
and make sure that they,
I mean, they have been warned. In fact, I wrote them an email.
Yeah.
Said, please remove your,
And And there was no
highlighted
response to that.
Yeah, any response?
no, the response to that was what I sent to each of you.
How about
So-
letting them do it again and just say, this time, if you don't do it, you will get denied for the following year, but
Have these been sitting there for years, you think?
No, not.
I mean, the one I saw, the one I got close to looked like it had been, I'm not sure where they set up during the season. I think it's, in the water,
Yeah.
anchored in the water. This was sort of on the marsh. And, it had either moved around on the marsh and then they were, patches of dead marsh. So I think it's a problem to leave them. I don't know, David and I had a little back and forth about this, and, David asked the question about, should we require duck blinds to be removed every year? And Southampton, apparently, my understanding is, at least in some places, and I'm not sure exactly how they do it, but they allow duck blinds to remain throughout the year. But
Where are these blinds located? Are they in the water or on the marsh?
they're in the water. I mean, they're floating, they're rafts with,
Okay, so they're definitely on your property.
but I believe the code, I'm not sure it's the code, but, or it's a general long-term understanding that the trustees manage duck blinds, regulate duck blinds. I'm not sure if all duck blinds are in the water. I'm not sure if there aren't some along the shore of, say, Georgia or someplace like that they're, upland, right at the water's edge. I'm not sure about that.
I don't know what your policies have been. I mean, your jurisdiction is ownership based, so, like if they're on the marsh, that's Suffolk County property.
But I think, what about Wainscott? Weren't there some blinds that have been in
Those are on
Wayne?
private property.
That was on private property, but they were also upland, right?
Mhm. Yeah, on Winscott Pond.
Right.
Yeah, I just think it would be nice, I guess, if they had come forward and said this was the problem before we had to go to them to say, what's going on. I guess I would say we, give them the benefit of the doubt and give them, a stern warning. This is, your last chance that, this will give you this season. And then if they're not out in the spring, then we're going to revoke that, your permit. We want you to, it sounds like the generation, his son's going to, hunt there. We want that to continue, right? But not if they're not going to follow the set rules we have.
it's similar to me to the kayaks or the boat moorings. If somebody isn't out by the date they're supposed to be out, we would tap them on the shoulder and say, gotta move this. We wouldn't wait. And then, it's kind of late now. It's.
Yeah, Marine Patrol takes the kayaks if they're not.
We would impound them. I don't know if you want to start impounding duck blinds.
Do you charge?
No, not right.
That would be messy.
Do you charge for these?
Yeah, there's a permit.
So
It's like
if you
$50.
charge like a down payment or just an annual fee?
Just an annual fee.
$100.
I don't know how much it costs to remove them.
Remove them or not? That's too complicated.
Have to just tow it out at high tide. That's what he was saying.
Put down a deposit.
Yeah. You don't
If
get
they
it
don't
back,
get
so-
it out, they don't go out.
Yeah. Keep
We'd
it.
have to change our policy then.
Yeah, the idea would be you have a deposit, then, we use your deposit to have it removed. If you don't remove it when it's supposed to be gone.
It would have to be a lot more than the permit fee to be substantial, and a lot more work, sounds like, for everybody. But it's not a bad idea to toss around time.
Is there anything in the language of the permit we should look into? Just reinforcing the language, or letting it be known that if this happens
I think that,
next spring, we're going to remove them or something.
I mean, the language is pretty straightforward. It's one sentence right in the middle of the permit application in bold.
Right.
And it says you'll forfeit your right to next year's, permit.
Of course, if they simply leave it in, they don't need next year's permit.
No, they,
I mean, the real remedy, if somebody is keeping a blind in place without your permission for a long period of time, the remedy would be to remove it. That would be your remedy.
Right.
That's the way your permit should be
Well,
structured.
that was the communication from me, anyway, as a trustee, to them. And the responses was, we'll make sure we remove it next year. So there was no, compliance with, please remove as soon as possible.
So the ones who haven't removed it, it sounded like one of them sounds like you said they had a legitimate excuse. What were the others just didn't reply?
So they all replied.
Two of them had a trailer they were sharing that was broken, that they couldn't use. And that was, the other gentleman had an ailment, so that was what he said.
So they had reasons.
Oh, yeah.
I think we have to treat them all equally though, so I personally feel like we should sort of reinforce it. We don't want this to happen again.
Any complaints from anybody saying duck lines are sitting here?
I don't think it could bother anybody really up there.
I mean, this is a perennial problem we have with moorings, with kayaks, with duck blinds, in a perfect world, Marine Patrol would be our eyes and ears and enforcement on the water, but it's not a perfect world. So the fallback is we should be more vigilant about making sure we're keeping an eye on the harbors that we're committees of.
Yeah, I think so, because we keep an eye on the kayaks, we really do, and the boats.
Excuse me.
I haven't done that. We haven't had any discussion about looking at kayak racks this year. I mean, maybe we have done it, but
Yeah.
we for the last 2 or 3 years at least, we've had discussions of, okay, let's divvy this up and
What's the
do
date
it
they can,
in twice in the season. We had some plan.
what's the date they can stay till? Is it November 1st or something?
December 1st? I'm not sure. I think it's either November 15th or December 1st.
Yeah, some people dawdled, but they did remove them. The other thing is you could remove them, not this year, but, next year if they leave them, remove them.
Kayaks or, are we talking kayaks or duck blinds now?
Both.
Well, the kayaks they have, the Ritual impounds them, but the duck line is
Big thing.
Yeah.
it's pretty big. I saw the one that's out there too. Yeah, it's
I
pretty
mean,
substantial.
the other thing is, if the duck blinds being left in is a problem, and if the reason they're not coming out often is the size and weight of them and the difficulty, maybe it's time to explore duck blinds that are much more easily removed. That would require some,
Look, let me ask you a question. Why do you have them removed every year?
That's what we were talking about. Then John was talking about, well, if you look at that blind, you can see it's eroded the marsh the way it's been swinging on the, so it's not really good for, the ecosystem in the marsh.
I would think you would also lose track of duck blinds because, they're there, you notice them, but how do you keep track of what's permitted, what's not?
Yeah, it's our property. We have to regulate what goes on.
No, but
You see people
like
living on
permits, you
it
could,
pretty soon, yeah.
I'm just saying, you could have a permit that goes on for more than a year, for example, it's a big deal to remove it, but then
Start
again,
putting heat
maybe
in.
there's a reason, that you don't want it there throughout the whole year after year. I'm just saying, you should have a reason why you want to remove it, not just, hey, we just make everybody remove everyone every year.
Well, I think at this point, it's past practice. Long-term practice is what we're dealing with. I don't know, I'm not a hunter, but
What about guys who bring in temporary duck blinds on a boat trailer and they use them for a couple of days and then they pull them out? Is that also damaging?
well, I don't think there's any prohibition to, having a boat and putting a blind over
Yeah,
it
you can-
and then
you can make-
motoring out, shooting and coming back. That people go out in the bay all the time and do that. I don't
Close your
think we
boat.
can prevent them from doing that in the harbors as long
Right.
as they're following the hunting rules.
I've seen them do that, but
But they're not fixed,
no. And I know you can buy them on like those catalogs of sportsmen's catalogs. You can buy lightweight ones that maybe that would make it easier to move.
I mean, the county regulates duck blinds around, I think it's the county, around like Big Reed Pond, and they're permanent. And, they
Well, those are actually
Built by
county
the
blinds.
county.
Big Reed Pond, those belong to the county.
and they lease them out, right? Yeah.
They lease them, or I don't know how you get permission to use it. But the blinds actually belong to the county.
Right. Well, I'm not gonna make any motions, so if somebody wants to
Yeah,
chime in.
I'm still thinking about it. I think that there's got to be an end point for the year where they have a hard and fast date to move it, and that if they don't move it, that we inform them by letter that they are they're not complying with the permit. And then once they get that, then I feel comfortable about, denying them the next year. But if they just
Well,
don't know,
I mean, the issue we have here is these duck blinds are there. They've been asked to remove them. They've informed us, the return response has been, we'll remove them next year, we promise. What does the board want to do about that? That's my feeling. What you're saying, I think, is more developing policy going forward, not necessarily dealing with this unless you
Right.
want to.
it's cut and dry, you don't do it, they're gone. But the other,
That's what the permit says now.
I know, but we don't give them we don't give them the indication that they've failed to comply.
I mean, you could do it right now.
It seems like it should be their responsibility. When they get the permit, they know the end date, they know when, it says it there, when they need to have it out, so they know the rules when they get the permit. I mean, I think we should let these three, we give them a stern warning. I don't know if I'll make a motion to give, these three, they wrote letters, they had a stern warning. If they fail, to take them out, remove them, we take away their permit in the
Right.
future. They lose that permit, so.
For just one season? In other words, we revoke your permit just for one season?
Well, we could start with that, yeah, and then if they reapply after 2 years, then we could just,
Well, it doesn't,
is it even?
I don't know if you can make promises.
Does
for
it
the
say when
future,
you
Even for,
revoke, when you take away the permit, you don't,
it says your permit will be revoked. It doesn't
Put 'em on-
say
put 'em
for
on
a year or 2
blinds or-
years, or
That's-
you can have it again the year after. It doesn't say that, it just says
really
revoked.
good.
Blind probation.
So then that's it, then they lose it for the.
Well, not necessarily, but I mean, you apply, it's revoked, right? So I think it's up to the board then, in the future to say, okay, we'll let these guys back in. But I don't think it's up to the board now to say, we'll let these guys back in 2 years from now.
Okay, I agree. We'll revisit if
They
they
revisit and they could be on probation too.
This is policy.
The one thing I would say is that you should have a clear policy. So for example, if your policy or your permit regulations or your permits right now don't say failure to remove your blind on time means you will be denied for the following year, I'm not sure that it would be good to deny it the following year. I think you need to give people advance notice of what the consequences are. if they don't comply with the permit conditions, such as they don't remove the permit. I don't like the idea of doing it on an ad
The
hoc
permit
basis.
does say that now.
It says what? If you don't remove your permit by its expiration date, what's the consequence?
The permit will not, will be revoked. You won't get
It's already
another
there.
permit the following year.
It says that?
Yeah.
Give me
The
10
thing
minutes.
is, we have a policy and they're in violation of it.
Is it written? Is it in writing? Does a person
Yes,
know
it's
what the
right on,
policy
it's
is?
right on the permit.
It says it will be
It's right on the
revoked.
thing they
It doesn't say anything about
signed.
the following year, it just says will be revoked.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's my point. You're not really telling them.
You know, the things they're considering is, you know, the time of the year it is right now is when they pretty much be coming back in, you know? So, I mean, Kim, we're gonna
Well, all I'm saying is.
physically gonna remove the
Policy should be
blinds.
clear to people who obtain permits. The consequences, if they don't abide by the permit conditions, should be clear. You don't want to make it up as you go along. Not that you're likely to get involved in a federal lawsuit or for removal of a duck blind, but, you know, just as a matter of legal policy, it should be clear what the result, what the consequences are if you don't meet the permit conditions, don't comply with them. It should be clear on our end, and it should be clear on the permittee's end.
Well, maybe in the next communication with these three people, we should say to them, you know, you're currently in violation, and if, you know, if you don't redress it the following season, you will be denied the right to put your blind in.
This is the language in the, now that they've signed off on. So all duck blinds must be removed by March 1st of each year, or applicant forfeits privilege to acquire permit for next season.
Okay.
So we're being asked to waive that requirement for these three people because they've had problems complying with it. One person has a very valid reason. I don't know where a broken trailer comes in, but you know, it does stop you from doing it. If we're going to accept one excuse, I think we should probably accept all three excuses. And we'll also put out the message that we're not going to continue just ignoring it, you know. That if for any reason you know you're not going to be able to remove your duck blind by the March date, you have to notify the office and, you know, be in communication with us about what the problem is, what we can do to resolve it. Yeah.
Yeah, that seems fair.
Did someone second your motion or is still?
There is no motion, is there?
I made a motion.
Make it in some detail then, if we're gonna, you know.
Yeah, so I make a motion to waive the penalty for these three duck blinds for this season, as long as they are compliant by March 1st to have those three blinds out. If not, they'll revoke their permits the following year.
Wait, do you want them to move the blinds now?
No,
Okay,
They need to reapply for a new permit?
No.
For the,
Well, they need to renew their
renew their
permit.
permit.
renew their permit.
Okay,
Everyone does.
They
but
have
only
to
one.
renew their permits.
so we'll let them know when they do.
so they're gonna get to leave them in and then pull them with the normal cycle.
Yeah.
Right.
When's the season start? Another date?
And I think this, we should
There's a lot of different days. but
require notification to
October
the
16th
to
is
the board
children's
if
hunting days.
if they're not going to be able to comply.
Mostly for the duck
next
blind, it's
March.
Thanksgiving.
It's just interesting, everyone has the, it's like when you lend someone a tool, they have the time to come pick it up. And return it. So these guys, their trailers where everything works, when they want to put their blinds in, well, it's time to pull them. They can't.
Any seconds, sir?
Yes.
I'll second.
Nice motion. It's good.
I'm recused.
All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
That's 6-2.
Motion passed.
6 votes. Motion passes.
Good job, Joe.
old business committee reports, the Aquaponic Protection Committee, APC special event.
Yes, they are having their annual meeting, and all the trustees are invited. But if you're not all already members, you didn't get the invitation, which has a, like an evite attached to it where they want to know who's coming. So I spoke to Glenn about it, and he's fine with you sending me, if you intend to go and you didn't get an invitation, just send me a note and he'll put you on that list. So, so that you'll be getting an evite.
What was that date?
I think it's the 21st
21st, I think.
of September.
That was
2 to 5.
the invitation was nicely done. Whole process.
Anyway, it's going to be at the Mullins
John
house.
Mullins.
It's very nice.
I'm gonna try and go if I can. It's at 2 events that day, so I'll let you know. Thanks, Patrice.
All right, aquaculture, final mosquito larvae counts.
You were there this morning. It was very, not much of a presence, and the county does not intend to spray.
Yeah.
So not much, what you say was
Not
not,
much of a presence as far as the larvae.
Great, that's good.
And someone went out yesterday also and didn't find much, and another person will be going out Wednesday, so it'd be interesting to see if this rain that we had and the high tide actually do produce a hatch, and we may get some, presence on Wednesday. And we've never really done that before, gone out 3 successive days or 3 days running and see how the progression of the hatch goes. So, might be interesting.
There's no wind either. Does that make a difference? It's just very low.
Well, the wind makes a difference in how high the tide comes up sometimes.
And the latest blue-green algae counts in the ponds.
Yeah. We had another count. Since the last meeting, there have been two results. Last week and the week before. So Wainscott Pond, the latest reading is 347.5. And the corresponding reading for 2024 was 494.9. So we're still below last year, but it's climbed up since the last couple of counts, which were in the mid 200s. And there was some presence of blue-green algae in, which pond is that? Swan Pond this last week. Very minimal, 25.2 was the reading, and below 25, they don't consider even counting, so very minimal. And last week, the August 27th reading, there was no blue-green algae in either of the ponds, or in Georgica Pond for that matter. So last September 3rd was just Swan Pond. Neither Pond Lane Pond or Georgica Pond had any blue-green algae.
So did we put signs up at Georgica last time, recently?
I checked, I brought a sign to put it up, but there were signs already up.
Okay.
I don't know who did them. They didn't look old, so it looks like maybe Natural Resources might have.
Okay, but they're not ours, so we don't have to remove them.
Right.
Okay.
In one of the communications with the county guy said he was going to put the signs up. So maybe they put them up?
Maybe, there was one at the end of Cove Hollow Road, and I think there was one at the rest stop on the highway, too.
Your friends at Georgica do it?
I don't think so. I mean, Natural Resources has done it in the past, so they might have done it, but I'm not sure who did it.
Any counts for Georgia Bond?
Pardon?
You have counts for Georgia Bond?
The only count this year was on August 20th.
Yeah, I see very low.
Yeah.
That's it.
Georgia Pond hasn't had blue-green algae since, what, 2016 or something like that, I think?
I
The
thought
cul- you know, the
the
cultivators
Cove had it.
and the opening seem to be
Yeah.
doing, keeping really nice.
No, this year, there was a.
Yeah, that's it, though.
Right.
The 28.23 reading there.
Right.
Is there any discussion about permeable reactive barriers for any of those ponds?
Yeah, for the ponds, well, my understanding that Stony Brook is going to put in a proposal for work towards a permeable reactive barrier in Wainscott Pond.
Right.
I haven't seen anything yet, but we were asked to write a letter of support, which we wrote a very general letter of support, not necessarily supporting that project, because we have to vote, we get a vote on, the different projects that are proposed for the CPF water quality money.
The county, New York State has issued a roadmap for permeable reactive barriers. And they quote, well, they refer to some of the staff at Stony Brook and Molly and Peter.
Ron Paulson.
Ron Paulson. In the contributors, it's a really good document. And they're also giving 2 training sessions by Zoom. I think they're the 12th and the 13th of September. I don't know. I'm going to try to attend one of the training sessions, but the document is excellent. It's like a primer on permeable reactive barriers, talks about all the different types and pros and cons. And if we're going to start discussing that, I think it would be a great reference to have.
Yeah, those webinars might be something that the board might take, part in.
Definitely.
I think one is at 10 in the morning and one is at 6. So depending on your schedule, do which one. Do you want to send that notice out to the rest of the board?
Right.
The notice for those webinars?
Yes. I only sent it to you. I don't know if anybody else got them.
I don't think so. I got one directly, but
Right.
if you want to forward that
Yeah,
to the rest of
forward
the
it.
board.
It's when I was with the APC and we wanted to fund the one by the general store. It was a lot to learn, and I'd have to, go to different websites and find out things. And this is it's just perfect. It's got everything there in one document. Yeah, I'm going to do the morning training.
Anything else? That's it. All right. Largest clam contest?
All right, so we are less than a month away from the largest clam contest. It's October 5th, Sunday, October 5th at the Amagansett Life Saving Station Museum, 12 to 3. So if you have clams that you want to get judged at any of our bodies of water, if you're a youth or an adult, you've got to bring your clam to the Life Saving Station anytime after 8 o'clock that day, between 8 and noon. We're going to be on hand there. Also chowder, there's a chowder contest. We've got Huey King's going to be a judge. We've got a few other judges we're working on. Also, we're going to have live music, the Lynn Blue Band. There's going to be the Shellfish Hatchery is going to have live species exhibit. We're gonna have lots of free food, clam chowder, clams for free. We've got face painting for the kids. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be, last year it was great, and it's gonna be it's our biggest celebration, so come on down.
There's also gonna be other places they can drop off
This year,
the
we're just,
clams,
no,
right?
this year, we're just doing it, just bring it that day.
You bring it that
Yeah,
day?
we just find that's gonna be easier. And we weigh it, and whichever weighs the most is gonna be the winner. So we've got lots of good prizes.
Are there limitations as to where you can have gotten your clams?
Yeah, so you can get it in Accabonac Harbor, 3 Mile Harbor, Napeg Harbor, and Lake Montauk, right?
Okay, so it's out of East Hampton.
Yeah, it's gotta be Hampton, yeah.
You can't bring in clams in South Hampton.
No, you can't, no, we can't.
How will you know? They do.
There have been suspicions in the past that a lot of the big clams have won, well,
I know,
claiming to be Montauk residents.
Right, we're just gonna all hopefully be honest, and the best clam wins. But so for trustees, what I need for everybody to do is we need you guys to get some prizes for our winners. So in the past, usually trustees will go around in town, whoever can help out to get a gift certificate for like, a dinner or outdoor gear. Ben, you got some good gear for, the kids, fishing poles or, clam rakes. If you can get some bottles of wine, ask for donations from local, and whoever you ask, just tell me and we'll get their name up on get them some recognition.
Are
So
there any forms that we can give the,
for like tax write-offs?
or just?
Maybe, I don't know, you can ask.
And if we want to pay for some of these gifts too, we have some money in the budget for that. You don't
Yeah.
have to keep asking, if you want to support a business and not ask for a donation,
That's true. Yeah, we do have money, right, we do. But
you can get reimbursed.
you can get reimbursed, yeah. And then just if you get stuff, just let me know or let Tim or Ben or I know so we can kind of keep track and see if all our prizes are filled. And then, so Saturday, I'm going to be setting up at like 10 o'clock on Saturday, the 4th. So if anyone's free to come set up for a couple hours, I don't know, 2 hours maybe, the picnic tables are all coming that day, I think, porta potties. So just to kind of help set up. And then on Sunday, I'll be there at 8. So hopefully you can get there at 8. And then, it's from 12 to 3. And then last year it took us, maybe 2 hours of, breaking down to 5. So if you can only do one part of the day, maybe just let me know if you can do the second part to stay till 5, or if you can do the morning. And then we'll kind of give everyone jobs, either whatever we need you to do. Also the life-saving station, the trustees, there's like 13 trustees there. I'm a trustee at the museum. They're not all, but a lot of them are going to be on hand too. So we've got some extra volunteers there. The museum's going to be open. They're going to be giving tours. There's a lot of good merch there at the museum too you can buy. And the middle school Do Good Be Good Club is going to come help out and volunteer. So we'll have students face painting and, so it's a big community event and it's all basically free. The trustees just want to say thanks and, that, we're all in this together. So.
Need more community service hours for kids? Can we need high school kids this year, or are we good with middle school?
So I think I still have to kind of get a read on that, but I'll let you, we'll see. We might have enough just with middle school.
If high school kids want to get some community service?
Yeah, then I probably would. Yeah, I'll talk to Aubrey. Yeah, we usually have more than enough, students on hand, so. But,
Try to get like that.
yeah, I know, cool. Are they going to enter this year?
No, as
No, I know, but still, they won last year, didn't they? Didn't they have the largest clam for?
these are the older.
Oh, the older guys. Oh, okay. All right.
Do you want everyone to take a few posters?
Yeah, so everyone take a couple posters. Are there more at the office or is this it, Arlene? Is this all the posters we have?
Oh, no, we have more.
There's more at the office,
Plenty
right?
more, yeah.
Yeah, so if everyone could take like a couple tonight and start putting up around town and telling your friends and everybody. So it should be a lot of fun.
As
Yeah.
many as you.
What day should we have our gifts, our donations reported to you?
So I would say by, the latest would be like the week before. So if we need to scramble,
End of
we can.
September?
And it's September, yeah.
Yeah, because they will want that to be noted,
Yeah, right. So also, by the way, the digging is the week before and up to the event. So you've got a week to dig for those clams. That's the contest. So we just kind of pray that there's no big storms or any big rain, so we can keep the waters open for the clamming, so.
What harbors are not eligible?
So,
Or any harbors not eligible? Because what if you get the guy comes in at the last minute with
Like Hog Creek or something?
Not on the, I don't see it on the poster.
Oh,
So,
Northwest is,
I don't know, you guys have been doing this longer than me.
It used to be, I
it's
think, at
always
the
been on
bottom
the
cover.
poster, hasn't it?
It usually tells you what body's on the poster. Yeah, we missed it this year. So,
putting an ad in the Star or anything, we could include it in that.
Yes, we're putting it in the Star.
we can do that in the Star.
I can add the harbors there. We're trying to direct them
press.
to the website. There's so many rules and this and that and the harbors, but it's our harbor.
yeah, well, Northwest Creek is closed right now. That doesn't open until December 15th. So like, they shouldn't be getting any clams from Northwest Creek, but
Right, that's not in.
yeah,
No.
the contest has always been the 4 bodies, right? Acavonic, 3 Mile.
The clams all have to come from
And Mont-
certified
Lake
clamming
Montauk.
area.
Has Hog Creek been out of the picture? Has Hog Creek been out?
No
of the
one's ever entered. A child entered in one.
Hog Creek?
It was one of the parents that you guys from your
Okay.
generation came a couple
Look,
of years ago.
I'm
He's the
sure
only.
we'll have enough prizes. If someone comes from Hog Creek, we'll give them, if they, I don't know.
It's gonna matter for the number of prizes we have.
Well, yeah, that's true.
We usually have extra.
Yeah, we do usually have a little.
Do people eat these clams?
No.
They're all returned to the water.
Yeah, we return them to the water, but
So it doesn't matter if it's from closed waters, right?
Yeah,
You're not allowed to clam in closed areas.
but you're right,
That's the
we
law.
could, yeah.
Because you probably get a lot of big ones there if nobody's ever clammed there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you might, it'd be a good place to find them if you don't find the DEC officer standing next to you.
Yeah. Oh, and I know this year we have this idea, because last year we like not sold out because it was free, but everyone, like the chowder and the clams and the clam pies were gone in like an hour and a half.
Yes.
And it's a 3-hour event. So to kind of spread it out, because we noticed some people were like having like multiple.
3 plates.
Yeah, and like maybe taking advantage of the system a little bit. So we're gonna give everyone 4 tickets this year. So you can use the ticket for, to get your, clams on the half shell, or for your chowder. You can get Manhattan, we're gonna have Manhattan or New England. But if you want more than the 4 freebies, you come back and then each ticket is gonna be $5. So just
So
to
when
kind
you-
of make it so it'll last the whole time, because people showed up halfway through and there wasn't any
There
food
was
left, so
nothing.
it wasn't really
Yeah.
fair.
I didn't get anything, not,
Yeah, well,
nothing.
trustees were the last on the.
So when we're at the gate, they're coming in, they pay,
Right.
then we give them 4 tickets,
Yeah.
right?
They don't pay, they get the 4 tickets right off the bat.
They get 4 tickets.
Yeah.
And then if they want more, they pay for the 5th ticket.
Yeah.
Beyond.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. It's a new system. We'll try it out. Maybe, hopefully it'll keep the food, last a little bit longer.
Can you
So-
come back and buy as many tickets?
They can buy as many as they want, I think, yeah. So we'll see how it works. $5 might not be enough, but let's just try
The
it.
clam pie went like so fast.
Yeah, that's hot and hot. All right, I think that's it for,
Clams, do we know where those from? Do Wesley or?
yeah, I thought we talked about, we'll talk.
Yeah,
Yeah, we've
Yeah, you guys need to do the planning,
Yeah, we will.
Not here.
Yeah.
not here.
Fair enough.
We're moving on. Beating this to death.
Conic Estuary Partnership, an update from last meeting.
Yes. So at the last meeting, I think I mentioned at the end that they were coming up, they were working on an app for the phone, and it would have all the water quality, they said all the water quality data. It would have closures. Let's see what else was, temporary closures for shellfish from rainfall, and they had a list of categories. I went on the Apple App Store and it's there. So I have it on my phone. I just downloaded it and just,
What's it called? What's the name of it?
what?
What is it called?
Oh, it's called it's got a strange name. I'll send it to you because I can't read it
Probably
on my
search
phone because I have
Conic
it open.
Estuary Store, it'll come up.
But you'll find it if you just,
I'll poke it.
this is what it looks like. So it's never, I don't think it's been tested at all. It doesn't have all the data I expected it to have in it, but it is in production. I'm amazed. but that's because they have the developers at Stony Brook. So if they need enhancements, those people are still on deck for them. You know, if you have to hire a software company to develop this, when you accept it, those people are released to another job, and you don't necessarily get the same people back. So this is kind of nice. It's got the maps and it's working. So play around with that.
Is there any, did you get any more information about the 3 test sites for bulkhead removal?
Yes, I did. So those 3 sites were selected under one of Biden's budget efforts. I forget which one. So they had some money that they were awarded from that budget, and they were able to cling on to that. You know, they didn't have to give it back. But apparently what they did was they went around to the different towns and with senior management and walked around and picked out those 3 sites. So our site was definitely, I spoke to Brian, he was well aware of it. He was one of the people who walked around that, and I expressed the concern of the board about not knowing enough to make a selection. And he said that that's what he expected to get back from, if that site was selected, he would get that kind of detailed risk assessment from the engineers. So none of us have that kind of knowledge at this point, like what would happen, how risky is it? That's really what the whole exercise would be. And if they wanted to go ahead and try to remove anything, that would not be part of this grant. That they don't have enough money for that. You know, they have enough money to get the engineering report. So, I mean, I guess we're going to be asked to vote on one of those 3 sites or none, you know, or say we don't want to vote on any of them.
Yeah, I would just say that if our vote should be, we should try to get PEP to make sure that they get input from residents that may be affected.
For the estimate, for the technical.
Just for, maybe we should try to get that input just for our vote, you know. If we're going to vote yes, it would be, I'd like to hear what the concerns of all right, the bulkhead's at the Promised Land Fish Factory. So that's been an area that's been a problem with erosion for, years and still is. And if the bulkhead, if that's going to be the chosen site, we're going to be asked to vote on choosing that site. I think we should have, the input of people in the area. They should be aware of it.
But when
Be aware of their feedback.
so we're not to that point yet. They're not to that point yet of doing any work. So if it's going to be an engineer working on this site, I think we should make it clear that there's no project in the works. You know, it's just, it seems strange, but it's really to assess the site.
Isn't that state property?
Yes.
Yeah, so we have no say anyway.
Well, we have a vote in the PEP, and we have a vote on anything. I mean, we vote on something in Southold,
So our vote would be whether we think the project is worth doing.
Well, the engineering of the project, right?
It's just an engineering
Yeah.
report. It's really to describe the method, like how would you go about this? You know.
But what's even more important than that is what's going to happen after.
Right.
I mean, they can engineer how to take it down, but someone needs to predict what's going to happen to the
I'm
coast.
hoping that the engineering they're doing is to get some definite details about what the project's going to involve. You have to look at the site to to see what effects you're gonna have, how much work it is, what kind of benefit you're gonna get for your dollar.
The first house to the west of the fish factory has had serious issues for years. And you make a drastic change like that so suddenly, it's anybody's guess what's going to happen.
Once you go near the ocean, you wind up responsible for pretty much everything.
I don't know that I would want to vote on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that if the vote was just, as Bill described, just the engineering, the technical details of taking it out, if that's the engineering study, I would say that's not enough, I would want to see the projected impacts of taking it out and what's projected to happen along the shoreline. I don't know if that's possible or definitive.
Well, see, there's
but-
three possible sites. The one that looks the most protected, to me anyway, is the one that's in Flanders. And that's barely a bulkhead at all, but it's protected. And if you wanted to just get the methodology established without a risky situation, that's the one I would vote for. Napeag is kind of, it's really out there and exposed.
Regardless of where it is, I don't know what the engineering entails, but I would think it should entail a projection of what the impacts to the shoreline in general in the vicinity are going to be.
Right.
I mean, when we had the meeting that the PEP put together on Napeag, the Napeag, opening of the East Inlet a couple of years ago, the engineering firm that did some of the original work on the original grant actually, put some projections together of what they felt would happen to the shoreline if the East Inlet were opened and what would happen to the West Inlet. And, so there was work done on here's what we would project happening if the inlet's opened, here's what will happen to the other inlet, here's how quickly it may fill in. There was work done on that. And I would think that it would behoove this project to do similar work,
Right.
Projections, modeling.
Well, it depends on the engineer too, because if you get an engineer from, say, Holland, where they work on a lot of shoreline projects, they might have a different approach than.
Well, I think, but wouldn't it be up to the PEP to craft the engineering report as to what they're looking for?
Yeah, what assumptions they're making about. We don't know how much the grant is for, so it might not be enough to cover all of our questions, but it should, and this site looks like it's the most exposed of the three sites that they nominated. That's what I found out, and I don't want to speak for Brian, but he wasn't at, he didn't think that this would be not sufficient for the purpose, that it would be sufficient for the question at hand, whatever they do. It's not going to be the actual project. It's going to be sort of a risk assessment. But so we can either vote for a different project, we can vote for no project at all.
What's the time frame on any voting?
Well, we're voting at the next meeting, which is, I think, November, December. And then we had, when we had that presentation about talking about the marsh sparrow, and Nicole mentioned something about they have a target for the removal of Phragmites. And that is something, so they published their 2020 measurable targets. And for Phragmites, I wasn't familiar with it when she said that, but they have net decrease in acres of invasive Phragmites from 2005 level. So that is one of their targets. And then the other one was the land protection targets, which was the acres to conserve. And that's the next one coming up. They have a lot of inventory of different kinds of land. And I think we talked about it last time. That would be all agricultural land would be protected at the highest priority. Publicly owned, undeveloped land would be the second highest. And then publicly owned with some development would be probably the third, and then privately owned, depending on where it was in the 2-year travel time, and shoreline vacant land, privately owned. So that's, and then they talked about that project mapper that they have. I think the only project that of ours on there in our area is the one that we did, I don't forget what they even call it now, the soft touch to removing the man-made modifications to the salt marsh. I don't even know what they call it.
The Coles project, you mean the Smart Team project?
Yeah.
I forget what it's called, but
So that's on their map.
sort of a marsh restoration, general marsh restoration project.
Yeah.
Trying to drain some of the waterlogged spots and work with the existing ditching to maximize the ditches that will drain the marsh and minimize the influence of the ditches that are causing the excessive draining of the marsh.
And that kind of fits in also with the Phragmite reduction, because removing that salt water from the marsh should help a little bit. So I just wanted to, I'm challenged with these slides because they're not a normal slide deck, so I don't know what to tell you, but I can put these somewhere where you can look at them in a shared drive or something. That was the only update from that. The most amazing part is the app. Because now you can go on there and see where the closed areas are on the app. It's like right there.
That's great. Everyone should have that.
Actually, find the name of it. Can you send that to us too?
Yeah.
Not
What does
now,
it say on the app? I was trying to get it myself.
It's called, I'll just go to the App Store. I couldn't find it either.
I was trying to load it in.
Yeah, it didn't come up under Conic.
Long Island water.
Well, you can send it to us. Send the name to everybody when you find it.
Did you find it?
That's right. We're gonna get in trouble again.
No, you're not.
Here, Long Island beach water quality.
So it's a swimming beach? Is it a swimming beach thing?
It just says beach, that's the title of it?
I see it.
Long Island, LI, beach water quality.
It's $25.
Really?
Okay.
You recognize it by this little water drop.
Yeah, okay. LI Beach Water Quality. Got it.
It's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, I'll mess around.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Nice map.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, and then we have additional news. Boaters in New England, this is from the New York Times. Boaters in New England protest buoy removal by Coast Guard. That came from Patrice.
That was an article in the recent New York Times, very recent. And we now know what the actual buoys that are going to be removed are in our area. I went on that website that
I emailed something around 4 o'clock.
But on that website, it says feedback is appreciated before 25 June 2025. So I'm trying to get clarification from the Regional Coast Guard office about whether we can still submit feedback.
Well, in the East Hampton Waters area, there are only 7 buoys proposed to be removed. Those range from Endeavor Shoals, which is about 4 miles east of Montauk Point, to what they described as the Gardner Shoal buoy, which is on the backside of Gardner's Island. The other ones are Blackfish Rock, which is in the Oyster Pond Bend, roughly between Shagwell Point and Falls Point. There's the Shagwell Rock buoy they were removed. Now, that's different from Shagwell Reef, which is further offshore. Shagwell Rock's about a half-mile northeast of Shagwell Point. Montauk Inlet buoy, which is north of the inlet, not right at the jetties, but further north. Likewise, Three Mile Harbor buoy, which is again somewhat north of the inlet, not at the jetties. There are probably town-maintained buoys near the inlet jetties themselves. And I think there's one other.
There's another one at Gardner's.
That Napeague, what I call the Napeague Sea buoy, which is roughly north of the old East Channel to Napeague Harbor. So there's only 7 in our waters, a couple of which are like backside of Gardner's Island, Endeavor Shoals. They're pretty far out there.
There's only 7 in our area, but there's many more than that.
No, only 7 proposed to be removed. Those are the 7 they're proposing.
In our area.
And they're all lit buoys, right?
They're not all alike. I know I looked at them, like, for example, Blackfish Rock and the Oyster Pond Bend, that's just a plain buoy. It's not lighted.
Yeah, but a lot of the other ones are.
And I bet you the Gardner's Island buoy, I'd have to look at it again. The others are probably not lighted.
Well, not everyone has the kind of navigation equipment that we would like them to have. And some people do rely on the buoys for navigation. So.
And I read the Times article too. I mean, there were people up in Maine and New England that seemed to have some really legitimate, gripes
No,
about
it
this.
seems that most of the buoys you mentioned are very useful.
I'm not at Motors. I can't say.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be wanting to come from Montauk to East Hampton around the south side of Gardner's Island at night and not have some idea of where the buoys
Well,
are.
there are other buoys in that channel south of Gardner's Island. I don't remember if they're federally maintained or
I think
otherwise.
that buoy proposed to be removed as a lit buoy, though.
Could be.
I don't know if there's too many lit buoys in that.
There's nothing, no, it's pretty much the easternmost buoy in that area. That's like marking the east entrance to the south channel going around Gardner's Island.
Seems like an important one. Seems like it would be an important one.
What
Plus
keeps
they're-
you off all that shallow spot? Yeah.
Cartwright Shoal and all that.
Yeah, right.
But it seems that, they were put there for a reason and they should probably stay there.
Yeah, what's the reasoning for taking them away?
It's got to be maintenance and manpower or something like that.
Well, lower our national
be
budget,
money.
try to close the deficit.
Right, they're finding other things for the Coast Guard to do these days, I think.
They close the deficit, remove those 350 buoys, we'll have no more national deficit.
Sunken boats.
So would we put this on our website if we did get an opportunity to comment at this point? Could we ask people to comment if they wish, or?
I think we should find out if the comment period is still
Right.
We could put
open.
the
I said
address,
if we
Yeah.
have time.
Yeah, it couldn't hurt. I agree.
Yeah, I don't see it.
we could find out if the comment period is still open and what's the contact information for the people.
Yeah, because the contact information that we have now, it's say they don't want to take any more comments.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to get the comments directed at us. We
Right.
want to be able to direct people where to
Right,
send the comment.
absolutely, it's not,
We'll just put a link to the story.
Yeah, we could put a link to the story, or does the story include?
Yeah, but I'm not sure, it's a New York Times article, so you may not have access to the article.
Yeah.
The article had the link to the US Coast Guard. What you really want is the Coast Guard contact information.
Yeah, the Coast Guard,
It's listed right on that.
it was the
link.
Coast Guard office in Boston
Yeah,
that took
if you
care of
see that
most of
RTIS and it
the
lists right
buoys.
above it.
I could ask Susan to put it on our website with the link.
Yeah, great.
You know, so we could find out where, if you have any comments on this, contact.
Yeah.
The other thing I wonder is what is like Tim Treadwell's perspective on this. I haven't spoken to him,
Yeah, no, it's,
but if Marine Patrol is okay with
They'll
it.
be picking up the pieces out there.
yeah.
Good thing
You know, it's, a lot of people, I don't realize how different it is at night out in the water. It's, it's a new world.
Anyone else? All right, move on to administrative payment of the bills. The following bills need to be paid. Impact insurance, $11,961. That's the umbrella policy. $5,174 for excess policy. Ben, what's an excess policy?
Excess policy, like excess liability, umbrella policy, so
Okay.
that sits over the general primary liability.
Okay.
It's important to have.
East Hampton Marina, $302.55. And we have Seacoast Enterprises, $26.89.
Motion to pay the bills?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
when do the pump out boats come out? You know? Columbus Day.
And financials, we have financial statement for the month ended May 31st. Did anyone have a chance to look
I
at
have
it?
it. Yeah, I did. I just have a question. When do we get the wind farm allowance for this year?
We already received it.
It didn't seem to show up in the 2025 numbers.
Well,
It might not.
we just got it during the last month.
Okay, so it wasn't there in May.
This is,
Right, it wasn't there in May.
That was my only question.
Okay.
yeah, I looked at it too. It looks good. I make a motion, paid,
We paid bills already.
To
Accept the financial?
accept financials for May.
Second.
All in favor? All right. Anybody have anything they want to discuss before we close up? No motion?
Close.
Second.
All in favor?